Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 1952 Hudson Hornet. Now this has 937 horsepower, 859 pounds-feet of torque from a 7.2 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 3,035 pounds, has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 3.246 seconds, 0 to 106.116 seconds, and go to a top speed of 206 miles an hour. So yeah, we've not had many cars from this era, either on this game or on this series, so it's going to be interesting to see what this car can do. Obviously it's got way more power than it had originally, and yeah, it's dealing with off-road conditions that it might well not have been made for. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what it can do, because yeah, being quite an old car, you know, it's nearly 70 years old now. It's going to be nice to see what it can do in comparison to the competition. Either any car from the same period, or you know, other cars that have been taken out in the series already. So yeah, obviously it's quite a large car. Still weighs a fair bit, at more than 3,000 pounds, but it has a whole lot of power to help move that weight around. Hopefully not too much that it won't be able to handle the power as well as the off-road elements. Everything okay so far. Now this is the kind of V8 that you'd have gotten in the old muscle car. I went for that just so it's a bit more period fitting, and so we didn't have to deal with too much power. So this is way above what it had originally. Getting about 150 horsepower originally or something like that. Can't remember really, but either way, didn't have anywhere near to this level amount of power, so still well and truly an extreme engine swap. Yeah, we really wish we had more cars from Hudson, to be honest, and quite frankly more cars from this period as well, to be fair. A tad bit of understeer there, putting us into the wall, unfortunately. For the most part, this has been pretty good in terms of handling. Final stretch. Not the quickest there, 161 mile an hour across the finish line, but a time of 2 minutes, 3 seconds, .517, at least means it's quicker than the Vauxhall VX220 Turbo from the previous episode, which is a bit of a surprise given the age difference. But yeah, it's still far from the fastest car that we've had on this series, but yeah, considering it's nearly 70 years old, that is not a bad time whatsoever. And it manages to match a couple of other cars that we've had on this series, which are actually far newer than this. It's managed to match a Porsche Macan Turbo and a Mini X-Rated All-4 Racing Countryman. It's beaten a Honda S800, a Toyota MR2 SC, Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, a Lotus Exige S, an Audi RS6 Avant, a Ford Ranger Raptor, and the likes of a Volkswagen IDR and a McLaren P1, all cars which are newer than this. And yeah, I'm just wondering now if there's an older car than this. Yeah, we've got the Ferrari 166MM Barchetta, which is about half a second quicker than this, from 1948. Then we have the Alfa Romeo P3 from 1934 that is ahead of this. Any more that are older? Nope, that's the third oldest car that we've had on this series, which is, in terms of, you know, leaderboard placing, which is really quite impressive considering this is far heavier and lighter and wider and, you know, overall size-wise bigger than those cars that I've just mentioned. An Alfa Romeo P3 is tiny compared to this, and so is a Ferrari 166M Barchetta, so yeah. And also they were racing cars back in their day, whereas even though this was a racing car in some regard, it was never intentionally made to be a racing car. It wasn't designed from the offset to be a racing car, unlike those two other cars. So yeah, for a ordinary civilian car, this is yeah, really rather impressive, especially given, again, it's nearly 7 decades old. So yeah, mighty impressed by it, even though it did have a tad bit of understeer, but nothing too drastic. And yeah, despite not having all that much power in comparison to other vehicles, that really didn't harm it too much. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.